Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, entrepreneurs, the people who are not only going to change themselves, but change the world. We welcome you to What It Takes Radio. And indeed, we do welcome you every Tuesday and Thursday. On the T days, we take just 10 minutes because you're busy to see if we can make a few thoughts, say a few words, and perhaps challenge you on some things that will give you a little more clarity, because clarity can lead to a greater conviction. Conviction about what is important and what might make a difference can lead to action, and that action can lead even to perhaps transformation. I recently did a little video, and I pointed out that oftentimes people simply want to improve. Good enough. Great. Improvement is important. Improvement sometimes should lead to change. And change is really good if it's the right kind of change. But maybe we want to take it one further step and actually go from a change to transformation. And that is where not only do we change things, perhaps we ourselves are changed in what happens. So that's the meager little goal that we have for 10 minutes of clarity. With your permission, just would like to share a few things that came to me that might be helpful, might be useful to you. First of all, I came across a rather interesting quote, and it was in the framework where Harvard Business Review was reporting that in some cases the technical businesses, those technical businesses that are really being frequented by the brilliant millennials who know the technology, they are now beginning to hire, some old people, some older people. Some of you saw the film some time ago called The Intern. I guess it wasn't too long ago, but it was about an intern, a man who was long into his retirement, went back and with an internet company brought his old school ways, and it kind of made a difference for the people involved. Wonderful film. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it yet, get on Netflix or however you do that type of stuff and watch the film The Intern. But the latest Harvard Business Review article said, and this was a wonderful quote, and so write this one down. Sometimes you need somebody with a little emotional intelligence to go along with the people who have the digital intelligence. I love that line. Sometimes we need a little emotional intelligence to go along with the digital intelligence. Little wisdom, insight, and truth. What it takes. A little emotional intelligence. So I thought I'd just share that with you. But there's something else, and may I get a little more reflective on the subject right now, because I think it's important. I've recently had some real difficulties that have come into my life, and in doing some of the analysis on them, I was able to figure out that some of my lack of energy and my lack of clarity and perhaps even some of my lack of activity goes back to some pretty painful things that have happened in my past. And I don't want to get into all the details. I'll just simply be honest enough to reflect that I have done that kind of work with that kind of stuff. But that led me to what we have now discovered is a major business and performance and life issue that is now very much working its way into the marketplace. And it's simply this, the P word, pain. Pain in the marketplace. Goes three ways. First of all, one of my mentors, a gentleman named Dennis Prager, who's been on the radio for many, many years, a man of real wisdom, had a line that has always caught my attention. He simply said this: if pain were water, the world would drown. If pain were water, the world would drown. And the reason he said it was, in response to a woman who was just sharing some really difficult things that she and her family had gone through, and how difficult it was. Life is difficult, but this was even more than difficult, almost debilitating. And in deep sympathy, Dennis said, yes, if pain were water, the world would drown. And what he was saying is that it's pervasive. It is out there in so many ways and in so many aspects and so many venues. How can it not affect us? Well, I simply want you to be confronted with that. We're now at about 5 minutes. What kind of pain is working on your performance in the marketplace today? Just recently, Sheryl Sandberg, who you've heard about, has done a great deal of writing about her own attempt to make it as the COO of a major organization after the death of her husband. And how that, even though she tried to be so bold and so brave, just how unaware even she was of the depth of the difficulty that had gone into her life, gone through her life. And obviously, and this is what I want us to think about, because the man who counseled me said this: if you don't let your pain transform you, if you don't let it change you, if you don't let it do something that might be helpful and useful, you will pass it on to others. Oh my goodness. If you don't let pain transform you, you will pass it on to others. Now, there are all kinds of pain. Recent article from Wharton points out that right now, the emotional and psychological pain, particularly of many of those people who have said, the heck with it, the heck with the elites, the heck with what's going on, and some of the voting power behind the Donald Trump phenomenon, the Brexit phenomenon, what is actually happening in France right now in that election, is that there are a whole lot of people in the marketplace who are dealing with psychological, emotional, and professional pain as a result of all the things that are happening. And how do we deal with that? How do we get the help? How do we provide our own help? And unfortunately, that's where too many people just don't know what to do. And the pain of a psychology is also being matched with the pain of physiology. There just is a lot of physical pain out there, and this, of course, is leading to the overprescribing of painkillers. The opioid phenomenon, and what that is now doing, not only to life, but it's almost an epidemic in life and the marketplace as to what's happening with people not only living on painkillers, unfortunately dying of painkillers. I don't mean to be morose, and I'm not. And I always believe in hope, and I believe that the reason we call this What It Takes Radio is for spirit-led entrepreneurs, that's exactly right. Without the spirit, without the higher power, without the things of God in place and space in the place we work, it will be difficult indeed. So I simply ask you to think about that. It was overwhelming in the pieces of literature that came across my place and space and studio this week, and now I simply share that with you, not so that you'll be in pain, but that perhaps you'll have some awareness of it in your leadership, in the service you give to others, in the place and space where you have to work. How are we going forward, going to make the place and space and the work we do in the midst of a whole lot of emotional, psychological, and physical pain? How do we deal with the pain in our place and in the place we live and serve? Indeed, we have to deal with it because it's true. If pain were water, the world would drown. Perhaps we need to learn how to be better swimmers, and perhaps we need to learn how to help one another deal with the stuff that comes to us so that we can all, together, be more equipped to do what it takes to truly make our mark in the marketplace and not be full of pain, but be fully alive to some of the good things that God wants in the world we have and the place we work and the relationships we share. I'm Stan Houston. This is What It Takes Radio. All the best and blessings to you, and bye for now.